Hello, alex.Lowe here, and today we're talking about one of the biggest hurdles when downsizing, and that's decluttering. It's such a horrible thought. Anyway, if you've lived in your home for 20 or 30 or even 40 years, you've accumulated a lot of stuff. It boils down to what do you keep, what do you let go of, and how do you even start the process. And the good news is it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And I think a couple things that you can do that can make the process a little simpler and a little less stressful would be to create 3 lists. One would be your absolute need and want list. Sit down and write down a list of all the things that you know you want to take with you to your new smaller home. All of the your clothing and home decor items and things that you know that you absolutely would want to have in your new home. Cookware or furniture that's going to be proportioned and fit in your new house. Documents, financial records. I know we were trying to go through a lot of that stuff too. I mean, do you need 10 or 15, 20 years of tax returns? No. Personal technology or work items. A good rule of thumb is if you haven't used it in the past year, which we've all heard before, it probably doesn't belong on your absolute need list. Downsizing is really about prioritizing. And that brings us to the second list, which is the let it go list. And this has got to be the largest list in order for you to downsize and feel stress-free. And these items in this particular category would be the clothes that you never wear or extra kitchen things that you never use. Tools in the house, duplicate tools or old decor, home decor that's not going to fit in the style of home you're moving into. In a way that that you might want to consider that would be helpful would be to create 4 piles: a keep pile, a donate pile, a trash, and a sell pile. And here's an honest truth. I always tell clients, this hurts. No one wants your stuff. It's not worth really much money. There might only be a few things that would be worth any money, and your children don't want any of it, which we've all laughed about. I'm sure you have. I will tell you when it comes to furniture that your children tell you they absolutely do not want. Your grandchildren, if your children are old enough to have children, your grandchildren now, this is a new trend, they like the older antique vintage looks. That's what they consider our old furniture vintage now. If you have grandkids, they likely will be interested in some of your furniture. It's helpful that on the things that you do let go of and your grandkids or your children don't take is to donate what you can or toss what's worn out. And only items that have, as we mentioned before, have true value, then try to sell them. The third list is going to be the sentimental list. These are items that carry emotional value. And the first one that everybody has to struggle with is the family photographs. I know in my own personal situation, when my parents became older and infirmed and weren't able to make the decisions themselves, but we needed to get them to a smaller place, we had mountains of my mother's photo albums. And my brothers were ready to just chunk them all without even looking at them. But I felt like there might be photographs in there of family members that we might want to hang on to. So I made a big stack of white envelopes, the big legal envelopes, and put family members' names on them. And I went through the albums, and if there were photos that had certain people in them that I felt like they might enjoy having a copy of the image, then I just put them in the appropriate envelope. And then when we had family gatherings, I would bring this envelope of photos, and I figured if they wanted to throw them out, that's great. At least, we tried to save those particular photographs. But that might be a hack that would be helpful for you. Other items might be letters or heirlooms, childhood items from your children's school, travel souvenirs. I think the key here is to remember it's not the stuff or the item itself, it's the memory you have in your head for that item. So don't keep everything to preserve the memory. As an example, I had a client once created a photo book of children's artwork and some of her favorite clothing items she could no longer wear. So she at least kept the memory and was able to let go of the item. And that creates an immense amount of space. Here's a simple decluttering hack that works well, and that's to focus, and I think this is a great recommendation, is to focus on one category instead of an entire room. Focus on shoes as an example, and set a timer on your phone for 10 minutes and tackle your shoes. You're going to find that you end up probably spending more time than 10 minutes, and you'll probably get all the shoes done within that 10-minute time, and then go on to books or kitchen gadgets or whatever the next category is. But set simple, small goals. You usually keep going, as I mentioned. You don't have to do this alone, though. There are actually companies out there that will help you through this process. They specialize in helping people declutter and prepare their homes for the next move. You can reach out to professional organizers, estate sale companies, donation services, and junk removal companies. They can all make the process dramatically easier. And this is where a good realtor can help as well. When I walk through a home with a downsizing client, I can usually recommend my trusted local resources who can help with everything from organizing to selling the furniture. And here's a final thought, and this one surprises people. You do not have to declutter to sell your home. Of course, we realtors want to get you top dollar, and we're going to recommend highly that you do. But if the process becomes stressful or overwhelming, there's another option. You can simply price the home accordingly and let the next buyer handle it. Sometimes removing the stress is worth far more than squeezing every last dollar out of a sale. If you're thinking about downsizing in Buckhead or anywhere in the North Atlanta area, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to walk through your home, talk through the process, and connect you with resources that make the transition easier.